What's up guys, James here with Fun Fact of the Day. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, learning lots and getting stuff done. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever stored anything on the cloud or on the internet or on your computer? Have you ever wondered what might happen if that were all to go down? What would you do? Do you have backups of all of those things? Well, have you ever thought about what the companies of the world do with all of that information? Believe it or not, 94% of all of the Fortune 1000 companies in the world actually have thought about it, and they have decided to back up all of their information in a very, very unique way. And that is where we get started. You see, it all started back in 1936 when a man named Herman Nost decided to get into the mushroom farming business because at the time it was extremely profitable. So, of course, he started farming mushrooms, but he needed an interesting place to grow them because they don't grow everywhere. So, he bought an old limestone mine inside of a mountain. And this was called Iron Mountain. And for almost 20 years, he became extremely successful in the mushroom farming industry. He made millions of dollars and did a great job farming mushrooms. But after World War II, mushrooms just weren't as profitable as they used to be. So he decided to stop farming mushrooms because he wasn't making any money and do something else with all of his land. Fortunately for him, a war had just started, and that was the Cold War. It was basically an information war, an attention war involving lots and lots of nuclear bombs. Everybody was terrified about what would happen if we got nuked. So, as any great entrepreneur would do, he decided to start a company called the Iron Mountain Atomic Storage Corporation, in which he stored valuable documents in his limestone mine mountain. As far as customers go, he decided to start with the most secure companies like banks. He figured they would be the most likely to want to pay somebody to store their information because banking information is extremely valuable. There's a lot of customer information in that. So he bought a bunch of armored cars and decided to start transporting that information into his underground warehouse. It only has one way in and one way out, and that is it. There is not a single back door inside the mine. The mine itself is over 1,000 acres wide. It is huge underneath there, and it even has its own lake. It's technically called an aquifer because it's underground. That's actually where we get most of our drinking water from. Over the last 50 years, this company has grown substantially to the point where now, over 94% of all of the Fortune 1000 companies in the world store their backup information here. Things like originals of everything. Pretty much every song you've ever heard and every movie you've ever seen has their original film and recordings stored inside this mine. And it is all extremely carefully controlled. The things like temperature and humidity and security in general are very tight-knit. They even go so far to control the temperature and the security as to not use classic temperature control devices. A lot of large facilities that tend to keep things cold use things called cooling towers on top of the building. Now, this company decided not to do that because that's dangerous. If somebody bombed the mountain, it would destroy the cooling towers, thus destroying the documents inside that need to be kept cold. So, they have different measures in place that are extremely unique. The major one includes the aquifer. This aquifer has water that usually is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cold. And so, they pump it through the rooms in tubes in order to absorb the heat inside the rooms and then pump it back down the aquifer about a quarter mile and dump it back in. It's basically a giant fountain. But because water is so conductive of heat, it actually absorbs a lot of the temperature in the rooms and keeps them up to 10 degrees colder than they normally would. This allows them to keep an extremely sustainable temperature with no threat of other outside sources destroying that ability to regulate temperature. They also do, of course, use various refrigeration and AC units because certain things need to be kept as cold as 35 degrees Fahrenheit, which is probably colder than your fridge at home. So, if the grid ever goes down, or any power is ever lost, or hackers take over the world, all of these companies that store information at this place will be safe. They also do offer cyber storage facilities as well, things like super secure cloud locations, but that is counterintuitive to what they tend to be recognized as. So if you ever wondered where all the backups and originals of everything in the world are kept, it is here at Iron Mountain. If you want to keep anything there, they actually do offer private services, so you can hit up their website down below. The videos that I've had playing in the side here are going to be linked down below as well. It's basically just video tours of Iron Mountain so that you can get an idea of what it looks like on the inside. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, definitely click on this link right here. It's a whole playlist of similar videos that are way funnier and much more interesting, probably. Click the like button down below, you know you want to, and subscribe for daily videos. That's all for me today, and I will see you tomorrow.